Take It On was, you know, it was like, okay, how do I start this album? Basically. The machine, the cogs of the machine start going. And so, those first lines, you know, what can I do? I can't take up and down as well. I need to find out where I am before I step on Mars. You know what I mean? I need to, before I reach the star, I need to find out, you know, am I ready for this again? Am I ready? Because once you hit the on button, that's it, on. You know, you've signed your deal, it's off, they've got a release date, a massive great machine goes worldwide to start going, so am I ready for this and that thing, you know, so there you go. So, and then there was that thing of, you know, that inner kind of determination thing. You know, a lot of them are kind of channeling my own drive and, you know, and just as well, before somebody said to me, that's like Taylor Swift, like that. I wrote it before Taylor Swift, Shake It On. I've got the bloody dates there on the machine. So it's just somebody said, it's just like Taylor Swift, how are you going to get away with that? It's like, oh, give me a break. But I know it's going to show, I know it won't be long. You know, I know it won't be long before I'm kind of back out there. I can do this. I see some of the things I've written about before, you know, even with Virtual Insanity years ago. And I sit and I think, and you start thinking, oh, somebody's come out, you know, they've come out with the human clone is on its way, and then you start thinking again of the applications for that, and you know, it just becomes a sort of frightening thing of the sort of the Autobots and sort of half humans and half robots, and you know, you start seeing it with the programs on, you know, Channel 4, humans and the rise of the robots and the digital human and all this sort of stuff, and so you see it's obviously becoming a thing we're having to start thinking about, you know. First thing being, you know, you can automate everything you want. I mean, what are people going to do? And that's why I wanted to get across with Automaton. The other part of it was sort of based on the, how was I going to redo this hat? Sort of what was I going to wear on my head? What was going to be how was I going to control my alter ego? You know, the Jamiroquai as opposed to Jay. The two different sides, and they are two different people. You know, they're two different psyches. Cloud 9, that was very much a muttering up. I can't seem to find my way around you. See what you think, but you don't think it now. You know, that's. And then it was like in the line, only a fool could walk away from me. So it was almost like an ad-lib I'd done. And then from the ad-lib, it was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to make something of this. I remember coming back, you know, through Camden, and I was listening to the mutterings, but just knowing it's one of those ones I need to strike really fast. Bang, get this out. And I pulled the car over, and I'm just literally, I'm sort of half of the lights, you know, half of the thing. Back again, go back to that bit, and just, if I could just get that line, and there was a line in there, and I just got that line, and then the next day got up there, and just still didn't quite have this, where does it all end, this track? And I just said to the guys, I'm going to get this vocal down. I said, I'm nearly there. Just give me another 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I sat around, I was thinking, don't lose it. You know, what can happen is you put the track away, you go, oh, we'll come back to it. Fatal mistake. You've got to keep plugging at it if you want to batter through. And eventually I sat there, it's Cloud 9. And that was it. Every cloud is Cloud 9. It's like, yeah, that's it. That is it. That's the one. Anyway, shot back in, you know. So let me put a guide vocal down on this. Bang, done. Great. I want you to rock with me, baby. Rock me, baby, all night long. Superfresh is more of a visual thing. It's more like, it's a bit fun. It's a bit of a, in my mind, it's I was trying to link up Automaton with some of the original thing was the of me with the, you know, and I know I've sort of seen it quite a lot now. I mean, the irony of it, and I came back in doing that and then saw, you know, this new film called Ex Machina, and I was like, you know, that kind of thing of, and it's just like, I wish I had to see if I could get this bloody album out before all these ideas, you know, just like everybody goes, oh yeah, you got that off that, and you know, I didn't, I was actually thinking like that. It's sort of quite important to me. But anyway, yeah, and it was that effective, that thing of, you know, the Automaton then, it was more seen as a visual video thing. I was just thinking video for it. And Can I Get Another Dance with You? The two robot girls. And I almost had in my mind, because I'm an identical twin, I had in my mind of two identical twins. I thought it'd be wicked. If I could find two really wicked, identical twin, you know, like Puerto Rican, you know, break dancers or something, who were super bad dancers, and stick them in the gear. And I'd almost be like the Maxell man, you know, so like watching them dance, controlling them. Be really cool kind of concept for a video. So that's really where that came from. I had in mind almost, you know, you see sometimes, you see some of these, you know, quite heavy kind of, sort of, Russian anti-mafia squads and stuff like that, and you sort of see some of the, you know, Colombian sort of super undercover squads that kind of go after, you know, you see it in Italy and Sicily, you know, you see people who go after like places, guys like Bernardo Provenzano, you know, throughout the 80s and the 90s, you know, and they sort of catch up with them, and you just see these, you know, some of these, it's not all kind of guys running that show, you know what I mean? It's like underneath those masks there's some women who mean business, you know. Inevitably there are people who go, oh God, it's another one about, you know, hot properties, about his girlfriend. And in fact, if they actually look, it's not really. And that's, but it's you know, interwoven into that kind of thing of like, oh yeah. But if you listen to the lyrics, you know, 45, you know what I mean? It's about somebody, you know, don't ever think she doesn't pack a piece that's fully greased, you know what I mean? She's armed and dangerous. So it's like, I kind of like that, you know, that kind of vibe. Something, baby, about you. It's sort of loosely based on my own experience, you know, and, you know, just, it's like when you've met someone but you've got to sort of leave, or one of those shorter romances that you've had, and you just think, you know, and you just can't stop thinking about somebody. I wanted as well with those things for people to hook onto the chorus, you know, and just have something as well that was just singable, you know. I kind of wanted that without going, ooh, you know, which is one of the dumbest ways to make people, you know, get onto your thing these days. I hear far too much on stuff. And it's a really cheap way of people singing your track, you know. But I wanted something that people got onto, so yeah, it's a reasonably self-explanatory song, but yeah, it's a nice track, you know. I'm kind of into it. I'm sitting there. Trouble is, because I try not to. It's really weird. You finish the album, and you've heard it so much, and then before it goes off, just in case there are mistakes, you decide not to listen to it at all. Because otherwise you just end up hating it before you even, not because you've heard it so much. You think, if I don't clean this out of my ears soon, it's going to drive me insane. So then, of course, now we've gone into rehearsals, I've got sheets of paper going, and everybody else now I'm going, what is the lyric for this? I'm totally confusing my lyrics. I need to get on with that next week. Summer girl, feels like I'm in love. And Summer Girl again, you know, just, yeah, like a nice thing for people to sing, you know. But just there's some key lines, you know. It's kind of based around when I've seen, you know, just really pretty girls being chatted up by guys who've got loads of money, but just idiots. And I really like that line, you know, that comes along, you know, no jet set interlopers, you know. No billion-dollar playboys. She don't miss a trick, you know. She likes to talk politics, actually. Not really interested in your boat or your yacht. And I love that, you know. Well, partly that comes from having two daughters. So you kind of want them to also. So some of it almost reflects off them in a way. You know what I mean? What kind of, you want them to have their head screwed on, and I suppose like all daddies do, at some stage later on. You don't want them to end up with an idiot. There's plenty of them out there. Mind you, can you imagine coming to meet me for dinner?
Yeah.
Dad, can I bring my boyfriend round?
Yeah, sure you can.
What do you do, Sonny? Oh, that'll be a great day. Nights in the Jungle was a track that I wrote sort of in empathy with Amy and the stick she got from the press, you know what I mean? Driving her to just absolute destruction. And, you know, people who were there, you know what I mean, who kind of should know better, say, go on, you can do it, go on the stage, you know, putting her on the stage in the state she was in is criminal, you know, oh, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And actually then feeding off the fact that, you know what I mean, she's obviously not in a fit state to get on, you know, the woman should be resting or trying to sort something out. And it was just like, you know, that constant crap, you know, of having, you know, and you ask why to go out, you just can't be asked to not actually be able to see anything. And as you come out of a club, the flashing and flashing of bloody flash bulbs, you know, and so obviously with my checkered history with the paparazzi. So I wrote a whole song, which I'll probably put out at some stage with full lyrics, all in it's a more fuller lyric thing. But because I didn't want to do a more fuller lyric thing, I wanted to do a more stripped out thing. So, you know, it was banging around for ages, this track. And then we finally got round and I came up with the bass line for it, and I was just like, right, okay, this is, you know. So it became a much more stripped down thing with a more ominous kind of level to it. The reality is when you start, and you know, I mean, when you start seeing, it's as if people sort of, you know, people go on about this, or you know, there's a guy running away from you and some cop just shoots him in the back. It's like, you know, I mean, but let's not pretend this started happening last year. It's been happening like for sort of 80 more years, you know. What do you do when you've had a night like that out and you're bloody, you know, of just nightmare proportions of, you know, violence and drugs and police and, you know, just general, just street hoodlum hell. What do you want to do? And you should imagine most people just want to get home and just roll ahead and just go, well, I just want to forget about it. Help me, Dr. Buzz. You know, just to get away from all of that, just to get my head somewhere else. And funnily enough, after I'd written it, I watched, you know, some guy was in a documentary and it was on the television. He said, you know, he was just saying after all this, it's just, man, I just want to get home and I just want to get high. That's all I want to do is to forget about all this shit on the street, you know. I just want to get home, get wasted. And so, you know, I felt that the track had nicely come together for that. And at the end, we put the Hands Up, Don't Shoot in because it was, you know, because, you know, that's what it means. You know, the first two lines give it all away, you know. Maybe the flowers laying in the street and all the mums and the wives and people weeping, you know. Just like, there's another wasted life, you know, with gun violence. We can do it. But We Can Do It Again is just a kind of, it's one of those songs that if you don't get the other part of the lyric of, you know, tell you something you need to know, you know, it's like, you know, it's you and a woman, you know, you and somebody else, you know, we can do it, we can make our thing work. But I also like it for the fact of, even if you take that apart, just the whole thing of we can do it. I can prove it, we can do it. I can love you, baby, we can do it, you know. It's a nice, sweet kind of vibe, but for some reason I always have in my mind the video for that of like the old Blues Brothers with the chicken wire. So, It's the one you'd kind of bring out at the festival if it was going wrong. I can love you, baby. Tell you, yeah, I got cabbage. You just keep grooving. It's just got a nice feel to it. Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, when it came along, I was like, are people going to like this? And then it was, and then we had a little, we were making it, and people came around a bit in the swimming pool, kids and whatever, and friends of mine. And I was Jamaican, And then they're all there, and I was sort of, we were just, doing our thing. Well, the doors were open, I was watching them, and I could just see them starting to bop to it, Sometimes my world is changing, and I was just like, yeah, that's cool, it's gonna work. Never got a chance to dip so far inside your mind, but I know you. It's kind of like quite an angst, relationship sort of driven track, and it's kind of just relates to some of my badder days, It's just like, you really need that, don't you? So it's like, I don't need no vitamin. Get some funk and love in your life, girl. So yeah, it's just a kind of me angsting out kind of vibe. Now you've reminded me of it. All I'm doing is sitting and thinking, what's the first line? I'll never get the chance to do the things I really know. I'm thinking all the time I used to want to be with you, but now things are changing, and somehow you can make me red and then you make me blue. You see what... Anyway, that's what it is. It's hard to get my head around it. I'm getting confused. Carla. Last track, which is, about my button. So, which was, it's just I think it was something that I wanted to do, and we talked about it, and that was like, 11 tracks is fine. So, nope, gonna have to do it. And it's quite an emotional track for me. It's it's something, but it's good. It's good. I think it's great. I think it's simple. I think it's come from the heart, which it should do. And I think it's not over the top. It's very simple. And I wanted it to be what it is. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. There's nothing I would change about it. And I think it's a really nice way to end the album. It's a very important point that you're making there. It was absolutely imperative that it wasn't sickly sweet, and it was really important. And getting the lyrics together for it was not difficult, but not easy either, because there was so much you wanted to say, and it was how you said it, and that is what's so hard about it. And I'm interested to see whether people actually really like that track, and I think people do. Although it's simple, and it's easy enough to say, oh yeah, I'm going to write a track about my daughter. But it's not that easy to do. You've got to know that you can do it and do it right. And, obviously, so that when she doesn't grow up, she doesn't go, what is that shit you wrote for me? You've caused me a lot of problems there. So, yeah, it was. That's you've sort of brought up something that is important, which is that it actually went to the core of what I wanted to say, and every word is absolutely true for true. It's just perfect. It's exactly what it is. And when I do what I do in the song, when people hear it, it's exactly that. That's exactly what it is.